is the Speaker Knockers.
Boonch Montana, Boonch Montana, Boonch Montana. First time on the track, for our pursuit.
2, 1. Our friendship is a performance. Good. All right. Here
Let's
we are
go.
in front of everyone. We hate each other off camera. All right, we're back. I haven't posted the other one that we recorded either, because I suck. But also, like, it takes a
It's
long
fine.
time on my Wi-Fi to upload. Like sometimes it doesn't even upload. It's like too good. It's too good. You gotta
Yeah.
make it worse. How
That's always the thing.
are
I'm like,
we? Oh,
what
okay.
if I'm
yes.
fine with, no, I'll just see. Like, that happens sometimes when, like, I'm trying to send text in, like, bad Wi-Fi, and it's, like, it's going slow, and then it just stops, and it's like, we
Try
can't
again.
do it. And I was like, no, I'll wait. Just keep doing it slow like you were doing it before.
Yeah, you don't need to. It's like getting 85% of the way to your destination, and then there's some rocks.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's
and you're like,
got to go back and tell them couldn't make it.
gotta head home. Yeah.
Even though the rock
So,
cleaner
yeah.
was right, he was right. He was so close. The rock cleaner.
You were so close. Yeah.
You know that man in your town.
If it ain't Piggly, it ain't Wiggly. There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
The Boonch Boys becomes a strip club, but it's only me.
Just wearing lots of clothes.
It's not
Mostly
called
that
Boonch.
shirt.
It's not called Boonch Boys. It's called the Piggly Wiggly, and we immediately get sued. And all it is me dressed up as a pig, wiggling.
Oof.
You know how
Someone would go to that.
Piggly Wiggly's like, we're not suing because of the name infringement. This is just abhorrent.
Yeah, we
Needs
just
to end.
really don't like this. Yeah. This is not okay.
How are we? How are we?
We're doing well.
You go first, Green Ring. Come
Oh,
on.
all right. No, I'm good. I very little to report. Work is still good. We're going to be done with that in a few weeks, and then heading back on there to Bloomington on the 20th.
By car?
Mm-hmm.
Always by car?
What?
Always by car?
Sometimes I've flown.
We live in a
There's a lot
crazy
of pressure.
place.
I'm feeling like it's like the third degree here. Yeah.
You have a lot. Did you bring a lot of stuff back?
No, not too much.
Good.
This is just you love those 3-word answers.
No.
Yeah. No, things are good, and Philip is he was home last time we talked as well, but he's still home.
He's still being still home is still news.
Exactly.
Bring back that.
Yeah. That was something my dad was just telling me when on like old SNL they would do on like Weekend Update after Franco died. They like
James
every
Franco? Wait.
No. Francisco Franco. Generalissimo Francisco Franco of Spain, the Spanish dictator. They would like come on every weekend and be like, this just in, Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead.
Jesus, that's so mean.
Yeah, no, it was well, they didn't like him very much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, I do feel like that would be good. We should just have the news
There's
should
Philip
also
now.
be
We should have
the
like
same. Yeah.
We should have like a graphic. Where's Philip now? Still here.
Still here.
Back to you, Barbara. Then we have someone named Barbara.
Yeah. It's just me, but I wrote Barbara on my head.
Have I told
No,
you about
he
my
is
Halloween costume that I really want to do?
no.
So it's a name tag, and it says 221B Baker Street, and then people are like, "Who? What are you supposed to be?" And I say, "I'm Sherlock's home."
Nice.
Isn't
I
that good?
love that. I love that.
It's the only Halloween costume idea I've ever had that was decent, and
Yeah.
I've never worn it. So
No, save it for a big one.
save it, yeah,
Save it for save it for
save
the
it for
important
the
Halloweens.
Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad, like a while back, wore a he had I loved this. No one understood it, but I thought it was hilarious. Um so he wore a blue t-shirt, uh and then uh he had this rubber chicken, and he hung it around his neck with a bungee cord, and it was chicken cord on blue. uh
That's
that
really
was it.
good. That's
Yeah, no,
no,
I thought
that's
it was so
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, God, it's almost like I keep remembering this because it's so good. But when you interrupted our interview with our dads and you were like, guys, not to interrupt, but I just had the idea of having a pet oyster and naming him the world, because then the world will literally be my
Be my
oyster.
oyster.
It's so good.
It's
It's
so literal.
We should come up with a bunch of,
Yes.
that would be a great book. Like
That's
funny
true.
punny Halloween costumes that are cheap.
Yeah.
Because it's
That'd
like
be
people,
good.
it's like, ooh, I'm a witch. It's like, who cares? Chicken
It's
cord
like,
on
come on.
blue. Yeah, like show your
Yeah.
class.
Does not get better than that.
So
That's
Philip's
good.
still at
Oh,
home.
yeah,
Philip's still at home.
Philip's still at home. He's actually not at home right now. Where in the world is Philip?
Yeah. The one
No,
thing we
he's
said, he's
right.
not
The
even
one
there.
piece of news is absolutely false. No, he is at Carl Sandburg Middle School currently,
Oh, jeez. Doing what?
starting the drum line with the West Potomac drum line. They're, for whatever reason, practicing at Sandburg this year. So yeah, so he's starting that, and that's today.
Good. Well, that's fun.
Yes.
Let me tell him to let you know, or us, how it is, because
Yeah.
we've always been there from the perspective of the boys and not the men. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean.
I think we all know. Yeah.
You read Animal Farm, you get it.
Oh yeah. How are you?
I have actually a lot to tell. There are a lot of different
I'm so
things.
excited.
One of the things that I'm not very good at remembering funny things like you are. So I remembered one in the shower that was pretty funny. There's this kid that lives over here. I don't know if you can see it. So this is the backyard.
Oh my god. Wait. Oh, okay. I thought you were just
Okay.
gonna. It was like the side of your room, and then there was a kid.
Yeah. So do you see over there? There's like kind of another house behind that tarp.
Yeah. Yeah.
So over there, there's a basketball court, or a basketball hoop, not a court, not a full court in someone's backyard,
Okay.
where a bunch of kids every day, like without fail, they're always outside playing basketball. And sometimes Amelia and I go out and sit in our backyard, and there's just one kid that's like kind of small and I don't know, he plays basketball, but I don't think he plays it that much, because sometimes we'll like look over and he's just like staring at us and then we'll be like, hi, and then he'll just flick us off. Isn't that so ridiculous?
That's such a like I don't know, like emblematic of
City
that,
life.
like our generation.
Oh,
I feel like that's just so much of what it is, like not doing the thing that you're there to do, and then looking at people and then flicking them off. Those are like the big three things that we love to do as a generation.
Yeah, not doing anything yourself, but watching other people doing anything and hating them.
Right. And yeah, exactly. Then flicking them off because they're doing it.
which is so funny
no,
because
that's fun.
like the quote that I've never thought I would hear. Is it a saying until it's a quote? Like, do you hear a quote, or do you hear someone say something and then it's a quote?
Ooh, ooh, hello.
Anyways, Amelia
All right.
said, she was like, I had my back turned to him, and I was like, is he still looking at us? She's like, I'm not sure. I don't want to look and have him flick me off. So
That's a yeah. That's a
talking
new
about a
sentence.
5-year-old boy.
Oh,
Give
nice.
it
Yeah,
up, America.
that's yeah. Nice job, parents.
So
That
isn't that a good story?
that's a
Just
fabulous story, and that is definitely one of those sentences that's like, I don't want to look at him because then he'll flick us off. Like that's oof.
like the
It's not a
government.
great sentence. Yeah.
Anyways, let's go back.
Anyway.
Let's go to exhibit 2.
Mm.
What happened? So I was calling my dad one morning, and my computer, I was turning my computer on just, start the day. I call my dad in the morning. It's 7 a.m. or something.
Nice.
Because he's an early riser like I am. You know what I mean?
Blessings.
And all of a sudden, I hear my computer go pop, 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 and like steam started coming out of it. And I was like, uh-oh. And so I quickly unplugged everything. I didn't know exactly if it was the TV or if it was like, because my whole setup is like right on the baseboard. Can you see that baseboard down
Oh
there?
wow, yeah, it really is.
So it's like, and that's the way the heat in this room is done. You have a baseboard and you turn it on when you need heat, but right now it's off because it's summer. So
For sure.
I didn't know if it was that, but I knew it wasn't good. So I unplugged everything, and yeah, it was the TV. Apparently TVs, when they get old, they can just do that.
That happens.
Isn't that insane?
That's really
Because
scary.
if I had left my computer on and something had happened and that had happened during the night,
Right.
who's to say that couldn't have caught on fire and then like lit this whole room on fire? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's very well. How old is that TV?
It's pretty old. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's old.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Amelia's mom gave it to me because it
Oh,
was already kind of broken. So,
okay.
like the
Nice.
buttons didn't work. So,
Yeah.
and I was using it
Okay.
as a computer monitor, which I'm not sure they're necessarily equipped to do, but whatever.
A monitor is a monitor.
Is a monitor.
monitor.
Lin-Manuel Miranda. That's his famous speech.
Yeah, yeah. At the Tonys, no one really knew what he was saying, but he's really ahead of his time.
True. So the exploding TV
Yeah.
gave rise to my third thing. Da-da-da-da.
Is that
Laptop.
a
We
ThinkPad?
have a laptop. I've always wanted a ThinkPad for some reason. Like seeing them in schools,
Interesting.
it's like, I don't know. I've always wanted
Yeah.
like a tiny little netbook because I don't need
Yeah.
a gaming laptop for 2000. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? And so,
Yeah.
just like a tiny little boy that I can have, and it's my little
Very
boy.
good.
Um,
Yeah.
I can just type away and do different things. It's been very helpful because I think there's very much a desktop versus laptop mentality because I've had a desktop since last March.
Okay.
Because my old laptop was not. I got a desktop because of the Brackenridge project that I did, that like album. My laptop was not going to be able to handle the things that I needed to do musically, and so
Yeah.
I was like, should I get a desktop because that has more computing power for less money because it's not portable. So
Yeah.
it made sense at that time because I was so remote. I was just staying in one place doing one thing. But now I'm sort of a moving boy. I'm moving around sometimes, and my Wi-Fi is not very good. But I've associated work with specific locations, right? And uh, just because my desktop has just been coupled to that location, it's like only there, and I can only do work when I'm there. But now that I have a laptop, it's sort of opening, like I can feel my gears rewiring, where it's like I'm on
Ooh,
the couch and nothing's happening, but I don't want to go to the other room. Just bring my laptop, just type on the laptop. So
nice.
it's
Now,
yes.
can I ask, because I mean, there's obvious benefits
Mhm.
in what you just said, but also I feel like sometimes um, the boundaries are helpful. Like I know, there was a whole thing about like never do homework on your bed. Like you
Mhm.
shouldn't be like, crossing over work and where you sleep, that sort of thing. Or on a more sort of macro level, uh, when like, with laptops, with just internet in general, people will work like on Saturdays because their boss will call them and be like blah 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 blah, blah and they
You're like,
have to.
how
So
is that a task? And they're like, you
you're
figure it
right.
out.
It's 8 a.m. Why are you calling me? Blah 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 blah. And but no, but like that there are those boundaries between where and when you work and where and when you don't. How much overlap or dissolution of those boundaries is healthy, do you think?
um, yeah, I think it depends on the nature of one's work, right? Because
Mm,
for me, um, I mean, over the past couple months, I've been experimenting with different things with tutoring and whatever, but I've sort of resolved to just like not be super ambitious at the moment. At some point, I
yeah,
might want to do other things, but right now it's just like do the lessons, do them, and
yeah.
do all the things required of them. So my amount of work is not limitless, right? There's not always something else I can be doing. I mean, theoretically there
Mm,
is. I could constantly be getting more work, but then at
sure.
that point there's only so many hours in the day. And so um having the laptop actually, I mean, it makes sense to not do it in bed because then it's like harder to sleep because you're associating the bed with multiple activities, which is not good. But
Right.
like other places, kitchen, couch, it's like if you're just sitting there and you have work, but you're comfortable in that position more than you're going to be comfortable getting the work done, having the having the ability to do that work and de-stress yourself that much because the work is getting done, it's
Mm,
like, yeah, each task that I do de-stresses me because I don't have more after that, right? It's just like
right.
I'm literally just decreasing the pile of work I have to do, and it's therefore relaxing. It's not like I'm continuing the treadmill. So it just
Mm,
makes that opportunity to de-stress much more mobile, which I think is,
nice. I like that.
and it's very specific to me, right? Because that's it.
Right, yeah, you do what works for you.
I have a very specific job, and I'm a very specific boy, and you'll find that. um, no, yeah. I've been fooling you. I have two different of the same cups, and they have two different
Oh
things in them. How
no,
stupid do you feel right now?
I feel incredibly
One is
stupid.
power. One is cement. No,
Oh,
it's soy milk and protein shake, and then one is
ooh.
Powerade.
Oh
Blue
my goodness, I
Powerade.
didn't know you were a Powerade boy.
No. Yes, I am because yeah, especially after runs, like especially
Yeah.
if you get super sweaty. Powerade Zero is what I drink because I don't want those extra calories, but it's like it
Please,
has a
who
lot of
does?
soda. Yeah, seriously. My dad used to drink them a lot, but they have a lot of sodium. So he switched to
Oh,
Vitamin Water Zero, which is probably better for uh, less intense activity. But Powerade Zero is
mm.
good for replenishing those electrolytes. You heard it here first and last. So
And last, yeah, no one's ever gonna say that again.
correct.
Uh, that's cool. That's good. What happened to the? I just have my normal water bottle. What happened to the gallon jug?
How dare you think it ever went away, sir? Yeah, I'm still doing it.
I was thinking, nice. I was thinking this morning, you should name it. Does it have a name?
It should have a name. I have not named it. Hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say like something that big probably
Juggy?
needs a name.
Juggy?
Yeah,
How
Juggy.
about Jared?
No, that's good too. Yeah, Kyle. Um,
Brett. I like Brett. I like Brett because
I
it's
like
kind of
that. Brett works.
because it's kind of similar to Britta, almost.
Mm,
Bretta.
Brett,
Brett.
Bretta,
Bretta.
Bretta.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
Let's go with Brett.
Uh,
Let's go with Brett.
all right. I like Brett. Speaking of names, sorry.
They're so revolting.
Yeah, yeah, I'm disgusted by the concept of names. Uh, remember, I was thinking about, I don't know how I started thinking of this, but you remember that guy Wolf? In
Wolf
our,
Boger.
yes, Wolf Boger.
Mhm.
Not him specifically, but I was thinking about just his name and other people named Wolf. And it's
Mhm.
like, that's a little weird. Like, imagine if you named your dog Human Man. That's the same.
Oh, I get it because it's just like a species,
It's
right?
naming something not what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
a guy named
Snake.
Bear. Right. Yeah. Like this is, it's like, what if we didn't? That's all I have to say about that.
I can I
Um,
comment on that?
yeah.
I think it's not dehumanizing because that doesn't make sense, but it's depersonalizing animals, right? Like it the name wolf, right? If you're trying to be emblematic of wolves, it's like
Mm,
it doesn't make sense because wolves are different. They have different personalities, just like humans. Like naming something human doesn't almost doesn't mean anything anymore because we're so cognizant of the differences between different humans that you can meet two different humans at two different time periods and they're almost completely different people like
yeah.
a modern valley girl per se versus a 16th century uh Aztec some like mountain woman. It's like are it,
Yeah.
like
Is this the
human
same?
like yeah
Right.
so like wolf is just like super condescending to the personalities of different wolves
Yeah. Interesting.
because it's like what is he a timid wolf, is he a nice wolf, is
Right.
he just
Right.
like wolf, what is he a hero?
Right. Let's take a deeper dive. Let's get to know each of the wolves.
They have different personalities, damn it.
Uh, yes.
So I had a thing on my run that I was worrying
Mm,
about today, not worrying but
okay.
just thinking about. So I don't really listen to music that much. Like
Interesting.
sometimes in the car I'll put in a CD. Sometimes when maybe I'm cooking dinner, but probably most likely not. I don't know. I've over the past few years, I've sort of established exactly the type of music that gives me that euphoric feeling where it's like, oh, this is really exciting, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I haven't explored that type of music enough to like keep finding new stuff that excites me, right? It's
Mm,
and so I was thinking about why is that? Because I'm like not a musician, like I study music. I'm a musician. Um
I
uh
like music.
yeah, and it's um and it would be I don't know why I feel like this. I mean, it feels natural and I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm just trying to wonder why. Um why I don't feel that excited about new music. And I was thinking that um it might be the fact that I've studied enough of it to where n- not only for most types of music can I be like, oh, well, that's like a this type of minor chord followed by this, and it's like, um, I know the pieces of the puzzle, and I know that certain pieces of the puzzle will make me feel a certain way, so that those
Mm,
feelings are never surprising anymore. Like
yeah.
I I'm not surprised by the feelings anymore, and I already know what's going on, so I just try to keep searching for complex things that I like, which is like a very narrow uh period in jazz history that I seem to love.
Right.
Like late 50s, early 60s hard bop is the
Yeah.
music that I like, um and at a certain point that becomes boring because it's like it's just this it's the same style. And but other
Yeah.
styles don't seem to excite me that much. And so I I don't know if this is um I think just because I've studied it to the point where I know different things, and I know exactly what type of thing excites me, makes it much harder to enjoy other things that I don't find as complex or as interesting to me. And I was thinking of the old adage, um, when you explain a joke, it's like dissecting a frog. You understand it better, but the frog dies in the process. I think that that
Mm,
somewhat applies to this my personal journey of studying music, where it's like I've now transitioned my joy from the joy of enjoying it, enjoy, to the joy of studying it. Like I really like studying music, but I never find myself passively listening to it, which
mm,
is like I don't know. I think that this happens with me in a lot of different things where my desire to know supersedes my desire to enjoy, which is like
ooh.
I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way. I don't know if um I'm shouting into the wilderness with no one there to support. What's the Dartmouth thing? I'm yelling
Oh
at a
yeah,
bear.
man. Yeah, you're right. We're in the woods and it's cool.
And there's four terms. You figure it out. There's
Right.
quarters, three classes. You get it. Scream
Yeah,
at
yeah,
us. I
yeah.
don't care.
Go get an internship in the woods. Uh, well, that's a very interesting issue. Not even an issue, but just conversation to have.
Yeah, it's a very big
Um,
issue.
yeah, that's coming up next on CNN.
Yeah, a 60 minutes episode about it.
Oh, nice. Um, well, I think first of all, the no, that's a second of all. First of all, uh, I would say I don't think you need to put like too much pressure on yourself. That's the thing. Like, if you're happy doing what you're doing, I think there are various, I think everybody's tastes in music, changes a ton like throughout their life. Um, and that, while you might feel like this is what I like right now. I know like my dad has said a few times, like if when he was a kid, if someone had told him like uh when you're in your 50s, you're going to be listening to like southern rock and like country music and stuff like this, he'd be like, nah, I don't like that. And now he does, and he likes it. So like I do feel like there's like a certain amount of this is like I don't need, I don't feel any need to change my own music tastes. They're going to change as I continue to live. They're going to change on their own. So I think, some of it is just be where you are, and I don't know, just continue. But second of all, I also don't think that the joy of studying and the joy of listening are necessarily mutually exclusive. I think you can have both. Um, Again, I'm not, living your life, and I'm not studying music anymore. Um, but I do remember finding joy in studying that. And um, even in, um, even like finding like you said, sort of the pieces of the puddle. Sorry, not puddle. Pieces of did a puddle. Pieces of the puzzle. Or like finding out how much of my favorite music is just like entirely formulaic, that sort of thing. Um, there was still a lot of joy in that, but I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know where I was going with that, but
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking was that like explaining it, obviously it adds layers of depth to the thing that you're listening to, right?
yeah,
It's you have different layers to which you can enjoy something, which is nice. Like if you study jazz, just as an example, just because this
yeah,
is what I do. It's like if you like the drum pattern, you can like hear that as opposed to just it being one huge thing that you listen to, right? Like if you like the solo or you like the bass, uh, like accompaniment, like you can find all the. If you study each different part, you can then enjoy that part more. But I feel like um, doing that, it's uh, there's almost a mystical quality to not knowing the reason why you feel something. Like uh
sure,
like watching a movie and being like, wow, that was really good. I don't know why it was so good. It almost
yeah,
it inspires awe almost, like some like specific works of art and different, like even just facts about the universe. It's like it can inspire like the fact that you have no idea how it works and the fact that it exists is just uh yeah, it's really cool and mystical, which is, I feel like, and this is completely true, why I think a lot of cultures have chosen to explain certain phenomena mystically, right? Like I like take being an atheist versus being a believer in God. Like being an atheist is like there's not really all that much magic in the universe. I mean, if I mean the laws of nature you can choose to find beautiful and like cool and stuff like that, but in the end it's just like rules that have governed the way and we just need to figure out those rules. Versus this omnipresent, omnipowerful being that has created everything. Like that just seems more mystifying as opposed to yeah, I don't know, like it, like you can break down every single law of nature and then what are you left with? Like I don't know, is this nihilism? What's going on?
right. Where was that? No, I think I want to zero in on one of the things you said, which is you can, even as an atheist, you can choose to find the laws of nature beautiful. Um, and so I think that element of choice is important both in the sort of, the atheism arena, but also in music, that like there's a certain amount of, well, actually I don't know if that's true. Let me just think in real
Bye.
time. No, but that you can, that there are things like, even if I don't believe in God, I can find it um beautiful that, trees are the way they are, or that, whatever, there is wind as opposed to there not being wind, like, or that, that there
Mhm.
are these laws of nature as opposed to not having these laws of nature, that sort of thing. Because, the origin of those laws is just as mystifying, whether or not there's a God. Um, but uh I think when it comes to music, like I've been listening recently to, I don't know, probably like 70s. I don't know when she was around. I think the 70s. Patti LaBelle, who's like a disco artist. So much fun. I'm just enjoying it. And this goes back to what I was saying. Like I feel like our music tastes will just develop as they develop. This is not something I thought I would be listening to like in I don't know, early high school, stuff like that, when I think I had the same thing where I was like, everything I like is classical, that sort of thing. And I think because this is why I was going to say I don't know if it actually is choice, because I don't know if at the time I could have been like, well, I'm going to choose to like other stuff now. Like I
Patty
don't really know
LaBelle,
if that's
Patty LaBelle, back up.
right, right. Yeah.
She's like approaching
Let's
you with
hold
her
on.
new CD, even though she's from the 70s.
um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much choice really does go into it, besides just sort of letting things unfold as they do. Uh, but I also don't think restricting oneself and saying this is the music that I like and this will always be the only music that I like is uh I don't know, beneficial or even reasonable, just because we don't know how our music tastes will develop.
Mhm. Yeah. I think another aspect of it that I, d- I've also noticed this about myself where I'm an introvert. And I like spending time alone in my room and stuff. I am Jacob Collier. No. It, where it's I don't know. It's just more comfortable to be at home, but obviously that can be lonely, right? It can be
Sure.
not very fun to do that for long periods of time. And so I find that the media I consume uh, tends to be one that uh, comforts me because almost seems like someone's there. Like I really
Interesting.
like audiobooks now because like I wake up in the morning and I put on an audiobook while I'm cleaning and it's like someone's telling me a story. Whereas in music, I I don't know. I wouldn't, especially with large scale productions. I'm like, I know this isn't a person. I know I'm just listening to something. It doesn't feel as genuine. Like I feel that I think that might be why I'm very much drawn to like solo artists and solo type things where it's like one person and a saxophone and one person and a
Hmm.
guitar because it's almost like a direct human to human thing as opposed to a whole performance to many, which is
Mm.
I so
Hmm.
I and yeah, I haven't again, a lot of this is my fault because I don't go like actively diving into like different artists and like different styles, and I'm not trying to find all this new stuff, right?
Right.
I'm like, oh, a new Malcolm Gladwell book. I guess I'll listen to that instead of a Sunny Stitt again. Um, and so I don't know, that might be also something to chew on. Do you feel that at all? First of all, are you an introvert? Let's get to know the Boonch Boys.
Yeah, I think so. I'm always a little confused as to like what the criteria for introvert versus extrovert actually are. I feel like I've seen people say like I'm an introvert, and then like three different people will be like, no, you're not, because you do these three things, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what I am anymore. I don't know who I am. Is my name Wolf? So yeah, so I don't know exactly what the like definition of an introvert is. What would you say to that, David?
I would say more often than not, they're comfortable being alone as opposed to going out or being with like other people. Because it's like I don't know. Do I count? Can you be an introvert if you have a partner? Because it's like you're always with someone else. So it's like, can you be alone? But so I'm not sure exactly what the definition is. Do you want to look it up?
I'm
Or
gonna
should I
look it
look?
up.
Let's look it up in
Let's
real
look it
time.
up.
What are you looking up? Introvert?
Introvert.
All right, I'm looking up definition of extrovert. Okay, it says an outgoing uh overtly expressive person,
Ah.
socializer.
A typically reserved or quiet person who tends to be introspective and enjoys spending time alone.
See, but that,
Introverts
hmm. Yeah, keep going.
introverts gain energy through solitude and quiet. Uh, Typically more comfortable interacting with small groups of people rather than large groups. Jung first introduced the terms introvert, introversion, extrovert, and extroversion in the early 1900s.
Big man.
Yep.
Yeah. Does that describe you?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely am not like a big party kind of guy, or like if I'm there, I'm gonna be with like my four people and then not talk to the rest of the people.
That's exactly true. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's yeah. But yeah, I think I do find a lot of joy in spending time with other people. Obviously, I think most people do.
Yeah.
That's why, joy is like all about relationships, that's what people say. But I also think I appreciate some balance, and that I like having time alone, but I also like spending time with friends. I will say I am deeply uncomfortable around uh people I don't know very well. I remember in like chemistry in 10th grade, I had no chemistry with the rest of the class. Nice.
Oh. Oh. Did we
No,
just win an
no.
Emmy?
Yeah, is this the end of the Boonch Boys? Um, no, I remember because I was taking the just like the non-honors version, and this, I don't mean for this to be like as sound as pretentious as it does, but most of my like other classes had been honors, and so most of my friends were in honors classes as well. And like I didn't know anybody in this class, and I don't think I said like a word the whole year. Like I was so quiet in that class the whole time. Um, and so like stuff like that, like I'm super uncomfortable when I don't know the people around me. So I would say introvert. Final answer.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I hate being around people. No, like what you said, new people, but it's weird. I know we're like going on a tangent, and I love this.
Let's go.
But I I think people would call me an extrovert in certain situations just because I try to diffuse social situations where I don't know people with humor. And I think the reason that I do that now is because I realize that I'm uncomfortable. And so in order to make it
Mm,
comfortable, I try to diffuse it with like humor. It's in some way. Like I try
yeah.
to like I put on a performance in order to not be uh so nervous because I'm being awkward, right? Like I
Ooh.
it's weird because I know that that's one of, I wouldn't say strengths, but it's like something that I know can sometimes work when talking to other people. Like, hey, just be a goofy boy, and then
Yeah.
it'll probably go well. And it's like, do you remember that one time? Do you remember that one time when we were talking to that girl Jackie? Do you remember that at like Will's house or
Who's
something?
Jackie?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
purple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yep. Yeah.
and at some point I was just like, yeah, I go to East Kentucky University or something like that. I was having fun. Um,
Yeah.
I was definitely more comfortable because you were there, and then Sonia was also there, so it was, and then she was the odd one out, which now I feel
Mm.
bad about. But uh, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Somebody that I know that's definitely an extrovert is Ari. Ari is the type of person to like just be talking to people constantly, going up to new groups of people like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
He has like literally hundreds of friends, and it's very impressive, but not how I am. Do you know
Yeah.
any? Are any of your close friends, Chance, Natalis, are any of them extroverts? Do you think?
I mean, I don't want to categorize because that seems weird, but I would,
No, do it.
I, yeah, no, I'm gonna do it anyway. Uh, yeah, I think they're probably both introverts. I think most of my Bloomington friends are introverts as well,
Hmm.
is what I would guess.
Yeah, because Chance is Chance still doing the the tuba
Trombone.
trombone.
Yes, bass
It was
trombone.
those two.
No,
Um,
it's all good. Yeah, yeah.
bass trombone, right?
It's his birthday today, by the way. Not when this comes out, but when we're recording it. So
Whoa! August
happy birthday.
1st. What are the
Second.
chances?
Ah, nice. Yeah. Take that.
I
Door.
broke my hand for you, Chance. How are you
Yeah.
going to repay me?
Take it as you will. What was the question?
I just
no, yeah.
how about this? Let's try and return to the original question I was asking you. Do you
Oh,
consume media that makes you feel comfortable because it's like it's almost like you're talking to someone without any of the social pressure? That's why I feel like having audiobooks and things like YouTube
yeah.
videos are really comfortable, because it's like it's the social connection without any of the stress, like at all, because they
Hmm,
don't know I'm there, you know.
that's true. I would like to answer a different question first.
Good.
No, well, I
I was
wanted
expecting
to jump back.
that.
Yeah, yeah. That seems about like 90% of what I'm doing now is just talking about what I want to talk about. Um, but no, I think you made an interesting point talking about when we were talking to Jackie and that you were more comfortable because Sonia and I were there.
Mhm.
That is an amazing thing that I've found, that even if just like one person with whom I am comfortable is there, I am like a completely different person. And so, chemistry example versus the New Year's party that we went to 2020, or
Oh
like
yeah.
New Year's Eve 2019, where I like didn't, I mean, I knew you obviously, and then I knew Greg and your mom, but
Mhm.
I'm not like super close with them
Yeah.
because that would be odd.
You're like, I
And
text Greg every day. I'm like, I
right, yeah, Greg's my best friend. Uh, no,
you hold up a picture of him and start weeping. Like,
yeah,
whoa, this Boonch
yeah.
boys might
Whoa,
have to come back
which
later.
always took a turn here. Yeah, I just like turned my computer and there's two Gregs in my room. Um,
One slightly smaller than the original,
yeah,
one slightly larger.
exactly.
Got it. They even out to one perfect
The
Greg.
one, yeah, the ideal Greg. But no, I mean that was a situation where like because I obviously didn't know anybody else there, but I had like such a good time and I felt more like I was, I don't know, whenever I say like being myself, I don't really know, because I also feel like I'm definitely being myself when I'm not talking. Like that definitely seems like a pretty Henry thing as well. So yeah, like this is what I do when I don't talk.
Still me.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. So yeah, so I don't want to say like I was being more myself, but I was at least more excited to talk to new people and be the kind of goofy boy that I am when I'm around you. So I didn't have any another point to make about that, but definitely something I agree with and have experienced.
Yeah, I was watching a crash course sociology about
Mm,
social performance, where
mm,
you're yeah, I think it was Irving Goffman. Don't quote me on that, or do. Where he said that we're always performing all the time for like in some way. Um,
Mm,
because obviously that's true when you're in a social situation, right? You're performing a version of yourself that you think would be the most appreciable. And
yes.
yeah, with new people, maybe the nervousness comes from the fact that you don't know how to act, um,
Yes.
which
That's
is
absolutely what it is. Yeah.
um, but then he was also saying that even when you're doing things by yourself, you're still performing. And that performance
Interesting.
might be socially driven. It might be the fact that, oh, why do I want these shoes? Because the shoes of other people are these types of shoes. Um,
Yeah.
or it might be a performance for yourself where it's like, I feel like I should do this, right? Like,
Mm.
I it's I don't know. At some point, that just like seemed, yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. We're all doing things when we do things, but
Right.
um,
Thanks, Irving Goffman.
yeah.
What a
Wow.
what an epiphany.
I
Yeah.
should have been a sociologist.
Yeah.
You're
We're
doing
all
things.
doing things.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey,
my God.
you live in a society. Don't do things if you don't want other people to know that you do things.
There
So,
you go.
society.
Yeah, fixed. Uh
That might be, now that I think about it, that might be why there's a difference between um, introverts and extroverts. Um, because introverts are socially performing when they're in in groups, in large groups, but they don't know how to do it. And yeah, because they don't necessarily know the people. And it's also not something that they necessarily want to be doing, whereas
mm,
an extrovert can be performing in the same way that the introvert is performing, but they are doing it authentically because they want to actually know the people and they want to know them
yeah.
better, where it's like asking them questions and being engaging is something that they actively want to do, and so therefore their performance is completely authentic as and not nerve-wracking because they're just being who they are, even though it's can be the same performance. Like
Still a
me,
performance, yeah.
like me doing the, hey, onions are actually only 4 layers thick. Somebody's like,
Yeah.
how'd you hear that? I'm like, I made it up. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
like I
Bye.
would,
Yeah.
yeah, like an extrovert could do that as well, but
Right.
the desire to actually have those people as friends is the only thing that separates it from being authentic.
Mm, interesting. Okay, so a few things on that. Uh I forgot the first one. The second one, I'm forgetting also.
Bye.
Let's be done. Yeah,
Thomas the Tank Engine.
no. Um, uh, no, I was gonna say I think part of it has to do with like energy, and that I know that spending a lot of time in large groups, even with people that I know, can be exhausting. Like I get like really tired from continuing that performance for that long. And that I think one of the things that we heard was like extroverts like get energy by talking to people, basically.
Consuming the biomass of humans and using it to, yeah, for their own energy stores. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know how
Extroverts.
they do. Extroverts, yeah. Ari. But I think that's part of it is you even think about like stage performance and that sort of thing. Like at the end, if you're acting in a play, at the end of it, are you like super excited because you've had this connection with the audience and with your fellow cast members and all this sort of stuff? Or did it like take a lot of work and you're really tired? And it might be some sort of mixture of both, where you're physically tired, but spiritually you're really excited or whatever. Um, but anyway, like I do think it's how much sort of it where's the balance between how much energy you're putting into it and how much energy you feel like you're getting from it, from any given interaction. But also, I forget. Yeah, I don't know. Yep.
That's really, yeah, that makes sense. The whole energy idea, where it's yeah, extroverts definitely get energy from being around other people, and introverts don't. Like, I feel like after a day of like studying things that are fun, like chess and saxophone, and just like reading and walking around and like just doing stuff, even by myself, is like much, yeah, like I'm very excited at the end of the day,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
I'm physically dead.
I have no pulse, but I'm
Yeah.
really happy.
I'm all the way there, baby. Here we go. Yeah.
Well, no. So the other thing I was going to say is, um, you know, I don't know, like introverts, like you said, the whole idea of, I'm trying to again use the analogy of like actual performance, that I think introverts might sort of, I'm thinking of like maybe like a stand-up comedian who's on like a tour, and maybe he's super comfortable, performing in New York, but suddenly he's in Louisiana and he's like overthinking it and is like, I need to like tailor my act, just so specifically they, this demographic will find it funny. Whereas maybe an extrovert is like, no, this is my act and I'm just going to keep doing it. It's still a performance. It's still not necessarily like, who that guy maybe is, but it's the same sort of performance in each case. So they don't have to overthink it. And I think that's sometimes what I felt is that like you said, like I know, I can be comfortable with like our friend group from high school, or my friends in Bloomington, that sort of thing, because number one, smaller group, number two, I've known them a while, and so maybe to a certain degree, it's that I already know what performance is appreciated, which sounds so horrible, like I'm sure there's gonna be a bunch of people like, no, you're just friends with these people, but no, I do think,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're not giving an appreciable performance.
Right,
It's
there, no
called
one's
being a
clapping for you,
friend.
Emma. Yeah. I just put out a hat at our next like hang. Like if you feel, what do you think? You think it's good?
Leave a
Um,
good rating on Yelp.
yeah, exactly. But no, I do think like that there's, some things there. But again, with chemistry, I didn't know any of these people. I didn't know, would it be funny if I started talking about one giant cashew, where people would be like, I don't get what the hell's happening right now. And so that's the sort of thing where I start to overthink it and be like, I don't know, uh, how these people will feel about how I am in other circumstances. So that's when I sort of shut down and am just really quiet
Hmm.
and don't do anything. So
You
that
know,
way,
you know what I realized?
yeah.
Isn't this Bo Burnham's Inside? Are we just
Oof.
counting the movie? Because yeah, he's a big introvert from that
Mm,
from that thing, right? I mean, am I crazy? It wasn't Inside a lot about introversion and performance, and like, I mean, he's a comedian, so he performs in a way that other like, yeah, I feel like artists and comedians and those types of people, it's even worse, the dichotomy, or not dichotomy, just like the aspect of performing yourself, because you're not performing yourself, which you might be doing in a social situation. You're
mm,
performing the performance of the thing that you're doing, comedy. You're being a comedian,
right.
and you're supposed to be a comedian, but like you can put on a completely different, it's a performance of a performance. It's not just one layer. Now it's multiple, that it's
Right.
just, you have to unpack of whether or not you enjoy it or whether or not you don't.
yeah, it's a whole other character rather than just a different side of you.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, but that, I mean, I think that's also interesting because if you think about the context of the pandemic, and the quarantine, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, um, if Bo Burnham is an introvert, obviously he was still having. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. We don't know what he was doing. Maybe this
Obviously.
was all. Yeah, yeah. I talked to him. He no, like, I think there were both introverts and extroverts who had trouble in lockdown. Now, there were a lot of things where people were like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life, where I don't have to, I'm not even allowed to go and see people. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's some people who are like,
There's
this
always
is
an excuse now.
right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, no, so I'm sure that, some introverts, and I think myself included, were, to some degree relieved, but also, we were both home with our families. Like, we were around people,
Mhm.
which people were obviously very comfortable with because they're our families. But I think that certainly contributes to it, is that yes, there is this sort of disconnect, or there was this disconnect between us and the outside world, but
Mhm.
it wasn't, me by myself for like 8 months. Like, that would not be good.
I don't think
so
I don't think that Bo Burnham necessarily was like, I know the point you're trying to make, but
yeah,
he has a girlfriend and a dog and probably
yeah,
family, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
hopefully.
but yeah,
He
there are
probably
definitely
has a
people,
mom.
yeah. Yeah. One hopes.
Yeah, and so yeah, so again, I think that in both situations, I think there's a balance. Like, I don't think there's an extrovert. Well, I would say I don't think the average extrovert never wants to be alone. Like, I think there's some sort of balance there for most people.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yes, it was probably more difficult for the average extrovert, being, forced to be with fewer people, or maybe by themselves. Um, but it's difficult either way. It's not,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
we're at an hour.
Man, we're at an hour.
So,
Oof.
yeah, we should probably start wrapping it up.
Probably should.
But yeah, we definitely need to be doing this more often. When I get down to Miami mid-September, I mean, you'll be doing school, but
I
my
will.
schedule is going to be a lot more regimented, let's say.
Okay.
Just
Mine will
because,
too,
yes,
because of school.
because
Nice.
you're in a learning environment.
School. Yes.
So we'll be able to push out those Boonch TikToks that everybody loves.
Yeah, clearly everybody's loving those.
Sonia said that we should watch Tom Segura's thing about a horse. So maybe that should be our homework.
I don't remember the horse thing, but okay.
Yeah, because we had a TikTok about horses, and she was like, "Did you see
horse.
Tom Segura's thing about a horse?" And I said, "No," and she was like, "Get on that immediately, or your family's done." I was like,
Whoa,
Sonia.
change of tone, Sonia. Yeah.
So yeah, well, let's watch that.
Okay. I'm not gonna watch it. Yeah.
And do you? I want us to do this now, where we have a thing that we learned. So, what was a thing that you learned during our podcast? Takeaways? Any takeaways?
I learned that you drink Powerade.
It's the speaker knockers.